uh, with respect to library management, yes, or stock taking in the library. So in today's session, we will be dealing with inventory management and inventory management systems. What are the different techniques that are being utilized for managing the overall inventory? And from there, we move on to what could be the standard operating procedures for managing the inventory. Yes, it's taking a lot of time to join today. God knows why. Yes. So now inventory management with any business organization, it will depend upon whether you are in a trading concern or you are in a manufacturing concern, right? So in a trading concern, what usually happens is probably you are procuring the inventory, say from a wholesaler or a manufacturer, and in case of a and then you are selling it off on a retail basis. Whereas in case of a manufacturing concern, the entire inventory would be divided into, say, the raw material inventory, the work in progress inventory, and the finished goods inventory. So further, the inventory will be having three bifurcations as such. Now, before we come actually to writing down of SOPs on inventory manage with respect to inventory management, let us try to understand what do we mean by actual inventory management. Now, over here we can see in the picture that with inventory management, we refer to a complete control over the stock levels that we are having in the warehouses. Okay. Then insight to the origin of your stock, that when and how the stock is being procured, when the requisition is being raised, and why at all the stock is being procured. So looking into that, what is the reason for procurement? Then automatic updating as and how the stock is issued. For in case of a manufacturing concern, it would be with respect to uh, receipt of the stock, issue of the stock to the production department, receipt of the finished goods inventory, and delivering the finished goods against the sales orders being placed, right? And then we have mobile integration, that is with respect to the latest technique where you could integrate your mobiles with the inventory, wherein you will be getting a continuous update of what are the levels, stock levels, existing stock levels in the organization, as and how the manufacturing activity proceeds, right? So that's with respect to the latest version of inventory management. Yes. So now with this, let us understand what do we exactly mean by inventory management. So inventory management, we can say it's one of the steps in the supply chain where the inventory and the stock quantities they are tracked in and out of warehouse. So that's when you receive the inventory in the warehouse and when it moves out from the warehouse. So now the goal of this inventory system or management system is to know where your inventory is at any given point of time and how much of it you have to order in order to manage the inventory levels correctly. Now, when we are referring to the inventory levels over here, the organizations, they are having a set of say some well-defined levels that they maintain with respect to their inventories. It could be the maximum order level, it could be the minimum order level. Now, the minimum order level is a level when once it reaches to the inventory, reaches to that level, minimum order, you have to that's a minimum level beyond which the inventory shouldn't go. The maximum order level will represent the maximum level beyond which the inventory shouldn't be stocked up or piled up. Okay, then there is a reordering level wherein that will indicate where in case the inventory reaches that level, that's the point that you have to place your order for purchasing the inventory back again in order to maintain the continuous production flow. Then there is some safety levels. So these are the different levels that could be identified in a business organization with respect to inventory management. Okay. So the goal of the system is, as we have seen, how much of it you should have in order to manage the inventory levels correctly. So when we are referring to the inventory levels, these are the inventory levels that are well defined in the business organization itself. Okay. So now some companies, they may opt to scanning the inventory via a barcode scanner to increase the efficiency along the pickup routes as well as the accuracy. So now, unlike an ERP system, that is enterprise resource planning system, an inventory management system, it will focus on one supply chain process. That is, they often come with the ability to integrate with other software systems like point of sale, the channel management, shipping, etc., so that you can build a personalized integration stack to the needs of your unique business. So nowadays, instead of having the records being maintained in the register and having n number of people to check into the records, now we are having an enterprise resource ERP software which takes care of the inventory moving in and out of the warehouses. Okay, now the entire systems wherein the inventory is moving out with respect to sales orders being placed or with respect to the raw material inventory being going out to the manufacturing department as per the requisitions raised by them. Okay, so that is the movement out of the uh, warehouses and the movement within the warehouses with respect to the purchase orders that are being raised. Okay, all these entire systems are tracked together in the enterprise resource planning system. So as in how the inventory levels are added or they are used, and the point when they are required to be purchased, they are being highlighted what items of inventory and so on. So that reduces the manpower requirement as well as the mistakes that might be carried out. Okay, so now with this, now why is inventory management that important? We need to know this. Inventory management is the fundamental building block to the longevity of the business. When your inventory is properly organized, the rest of your supply chain management will fall into place. Now, without it, you risk the responses of the mistakes like missed shipments, out of stocks, overstocking, mispicks, and so on. So, proper warehouse management is the key to the success. Then mistakes, it result from incorrect paper pick lists, that is disorganized shelf labels or just a messy warehouse in general. So that's where the mispicks takes place. Then missed shipments, they are a direct result of the mispicks at the beginning of the inventory process, and they are also a result of lack in quality control procedures. Then out of stocks and overstocks. Now these occur when a company uses manual methods to place the orders without having a full grasp on the state of their inventory, right? So this is not a good predictor for inventory forecasting, and it results into too much stock of inventory or too little of stock. So all these mistakes will not only cost you the money, but also it will cost you in wasted labor being spent correcting the mistakes with respect to inventory later on once they are built. So when you don't implement the management tools, your risk of human error mistakes goes up by every right from the beginning since they are being received, and your customer reviews and loyalty again they take a negative hit as well. So why is inventory management important again with respect to manufacturing organizations? It is because almost 60 to 70% of the cost of an individual good that is being manufactured, it is with respect to the raw material or the inventory that is required in the manufacturing of a product, right? So it is, and every time you order the material and you are having or you are carrying that material in your warehouse, that adds up to your inventory management cost. inventory management cost in terms of maintaining the stock in the godown. Some of the materials could be requiring air conditioning facilities. The others might be of a perishable nature, right? So they are required to be taken care of. Further, the rent of the warehouse, the salary to be paid to the people working in the warehouse, the records that are required to be maintained, and so on and so forth. Again, further looking into the insurance requirements with respect to the nature of the stock and so on. So n number of costs that are involved with managing the inventory, and thereby it is a must that one has to see to it that the inventory is managed to such levels so that that entire production process is neither hampered nor there is excess of investment that is made in the inventory, because that would amount to costs of storing the inventory, the cost of theft, cost of uh, a reduction in the value of the investment being stored, or depreciation of the inventory, and so on with passage of time, right? So it's of most importance that the required levels of inventory are maintained in any business organizations. So now, with the importance of the inventory, the right level of inventory that is required to be maintained in the organization. Now, let us move into some inventory management techniques that are being observed by business organizations. So now with this, yes. So that being said, that inventory management is only as powerful as the way one uses it. Now it's well worth that the extra time and the money to have inventory management set up by the experts who make the software, right? So one has to work with them to make sure that you are utilizing the proper technique and the features to get the most from the system that you will be implementing. So now let us look at some of the inventory control techniques that one might use in the warehouse of a business organization. So first is the economic order quantity. Now the EOQ, or economic order quantity, it is a formula for the ideal order quantity a company needs to purchase for its inventory, with a set of variables like considering the total costs of production, what is the rate at which it is being demanded, and the other factors, right? So the overall goal of this economic order quantity is to minimize the related costs. Now here it is being looked into that every time you are placing an order, there are two costs that are being involved with the ordering of quantity. First is the ordering cost, and second is the stock carrying cost. So economic order quantity, it is that quantity where the both the cost of ordering the inventory as well as the cost of carrying the inventory in the warehouse or of the godown is kept to the minimum. So accordingly, the quantity is being calculated. Now the formula is used to identify the greatest number of products units to order to minimize the buying, right? So the formula also takes the number of units in the delivery of and storing of the inventory units cost. So this helps to free up the tied cash in inventory for most of the companies. The next technique is minimum order quantity. Now on the supplier side, minimum order quantity, or MOQ, that is the smallest amount of set stock a supplier is willing to sell. So it is some pre-decided stock level where the supplier is not ready to sell either below it or above it, right? So if the retailers are unable to purchase the MOQ of the product, then the supplier is not going to sell it to you. So for example, the inventory items that cost more to produce, right? So typically they have a smaller MOQ as opposed to the cheaper items that are easier and most cost effective to make. So next technique is the ABC analysis. Now here the this inventory categorization, this is an inventory categorization technique basically that splits up the inventory into three categories to identify the items that have a heavy impact on the overall inventory cost. So it is depending upon the cost of the inventory that the inventory items are being split up into category A, category B, and category C. Now, category A, it serves as your most valuable products that contribute the most to the overall profit. So now these are the inventory items who are having the maximum value of inventory. Okay, so it could be ranging, so say from some 60 to 70% of the total cost of inventory. Then we are having category B, that is where it is the products that fall somewhere in between the most and the least valuable. So middle category inventory items in with respect to the value. So somewhere they lie say from 20 to 30% of the inventory, right? And then category C items, it is for the small transactions that are vital for the overall profit, but they don't matter much individually to the company altogether. These are the items of inventory where they are the lowest possible items in terms of value. Say it's almost 10 to 15% of the total inventory cost. So this is again one of the techniques where the inventory is managed. So where the A category items, they you will be having a different standard operating procedures for managing the inventory with respect to category A, category B, and category C. Okay, so category A, that is depicting some 50 to 60% of the inventory. Category B, that is depicting some 20 to 40% of the inventory, and then category C items depicting 10% of the inventory cost. So this is with respect to the cost of the inventory. That's where the categories are made. Then we move on to the further techniques, that is just in time inventory. Now, just in time inventory management, it is a technique that arranges the raw material orders from the suppliers in direct connection with the production schedules. So where the production schedules are looked into first, okay, and you identify the suppliers on such basis that if the production schedule is requiring the introduction of the raw materials say in 5 hours or in 10 hours, then accordingly the order will be placed with the supplier so that it arrives just in time so that it could be introduced in the production processes. So just in time, it is a great way to reduce the inventory costs. Now companies, they receive the inventory on an as needed basis instead of ordering too much and risking of the dead stock. Now the dead stock is an inventory that was never sold or used by customers before being removed from the sales status, right? So that's where just in time will reduce the required inventory cost to the minimum. This is the latest technique that has been implied, but then here one has to be very careful with production schedules. Then the suppliers are identified, again the lead time, that is the time required from placing of the order till the actual receipt of the inventory uh, to the business concern is pre-decided, it is confirmed, and one has to see to it that the suppliers are capable of providing the inventory as and when required on a timely manner. Only then just-in-time inventory management works. Then we have safety stock inventory. Now, safety stock inventory management, it is an extra inventory being ordered beyond the expected demand, right? Say, for example, the demand is for 10 units that needs some 40 items of inventory, right? So the safety stock level could be set up to 50, right? So it's an extra inventory being ordered beyond the expected demand. Now, this technique is being used to prevent the stockouts typically that are caused by incorrect forecasting or unforeseen changes in customer demand. So now again, in deciding the safety stock levels, one has to keep in mind the history of the demand that is being raised by the customers with respect to the product mix or with respect to the finished goods that you are uh, into the manufacturing and selling of, right? So considering the history, considering some say typical seasons where it could be identified that the demand moves up on a temporary basis, and accordingly the safety stocks for a seasonal basis or on a quarterly basis could be decided, and accordingly they can be looked into for managing the inventory so that neither lot of cash is being get stuck up in the inventory, nor you are suffering from saying no to the customers or losing the customers to your competitors. So that's where the safety stock levels are being decided. Next, a technique is FIFO and LIFO. Now, with FIFO and LIFO, they are the methods that are being used to determine the cost of the inventory that is being issued to the production department. Now, FIFO, it refers to first in, first out, and it assumes that the older inventory is sold first. So now again, this is a great way to keep the inventory fresh. Say, for example, you are keeping an inventory of item A. Now, it so happens that whenever you are procuring the inventory, you are procuring the inventory in batches, right? So, the same item, raw material A, it could be procured at, in the first batch, say it is procured at 4.80 paise, that is 4 rupees 80 paise per unit. Then in the next batch, it is being procured at 5 rupees per unit. And in the next batch, again, it is procured at 5 rupees 10 paise per unit. So now, depending upon the, the purchase price of the inventory at the various time durations that you have procured the inventory. So after procurement, you receive the inventory, you store it in your go down. Now the question arises that as to when you are issuing the same inventory to the production department, at what rate you will be charging the inventory. So with respect to now, that's where these methods are put into practice. Now with respect to FIFO, that is first in, first out, what is usually being practiced is that what the inventory, the batch of inventory which is procured first, from that batch, the it will be issued to the production, right? So in our example, as I said, batch 1, batch 2, and batch 3, wherein we were having, say, 200 units of batch 1 procured at 4.8, then 200 units in batch 2 procured at 5 rupees per unit, and 200 units of batch 3 that is procured at 5 rupees 10 paise per unit. So whenever if the production department is demanding say 300 units, so under FIFO method, what happens is from the first batch, you will be issuing the 200 units at a rate of 4.8 per unit. And from the second batch, you will be issuing 100 units at a rate of 5 rupees per unit. So that's how the inventory will be costed with respect to the purchase orders that are being raised, the requisition, the goods requisition that is being raised, and the manner in which these goods are issued, the raw material is issued to the production processes. Now, considering the same example, if we are opting out for the LIFO method. Now, the LIFO method refers to the last in, first out. That is the inventory which is received in the last lot or the last batch, it is to be issued first. So that is last in, first out. Now, this assumes the newer inventory is typically issued to the production processes first. So now, with respect to the same example, in case the organization is following LIFO method of issue of inventory or costing of inventory, so what will happen? 200 units where the requisition is raised for 300 units by the manufacturing department. What will happen? The last batch, that is wherein we have procured 200 units at a rate of 5.10 per unit, that 200 units will be issued first at a rate of 5.10, and then from the previous batch, that is the second batch, 100 units at a rate of 5 will be issued. Yes, so that's how the difference will always exist with LIFO or FIFO methods of issues being made to the production department. Now, what happens under FIFO? The inventory that is procured first will be issued to the production first. So typically this type of inventory system will be utilized in, especially in case of perishable commodities, right? In case of LIFO, where the business houses are following the LIFO method, the cost of the inventory that is issued to the production process, it will be at the latest cost. Whereas in case of FIFO, it won't be at the latest cost, it would be with the historical cost of inventories, where it will be recording the cost of inventory issue. So that's how, when we speak about LIFO and FIFO, these are the methods that are being used to determine the cost of inventory that is being issued to the production department. Now, in case of a manufacturing concern, it would be with respect to the production department. It would be with respect to the issues of raw materials. But in case of a trading concern, where there is no manufacturing as such, it would be with respect to the issues of the goods that are procured and that would be sent for sale purpose, right? So accordingly, the profit margins would vary, whether you are following the LIFO or FIFO method of issues. Now with this, we move on to the next methods of inventory. So that is again, yes, reorder point formula. Now the reorder point formula is again an inventory management technique that is based on a business's own purchase and sales cycles that varies on per product basis. Per product basis meaning thereby the manner in which the product is being consumed. So a reorder point is usually higher than the safety stock number to factor in the lead time. Okay, which lead time? The lead time with respect to the purchase cycle and lead time with respect to the sales cycle. So the lead time, we mean the time that is required to procure the material. Okay, from the time the requisition is being raised till the actual receipt in the godown, and sales cycle, again the time during which the sales order is being raised until it actually moves out of the godown. So considering both the lead times, the reorder point is being, or the reorder level is being decided by business organizations. Now then we come to batch tracking. So in batch tracking, now this is a quality control inventory management technique, right? Wherein users, they group and monitor a set of stock having similar traits. So now this method will help you to track the expiration of inventory, what are the expiry dates with respect to the inventory that you are carrying, or trace the defective items which are back to their original batch. So this is with respect to the quality control technique that has been utilized in order to manage the inventory that you are holding. Then we have having the perpetual inventory management. Perpetual by the word itself means takes place on an ongoing basis. So perpetual inventory management is simply counting or verifying the inventory as soon as it arrives. Now it's the most basic inventory management technique, and it can be recorded manually on pen and paper, or it can be recorded on a spreadsheet. So this is one of the ways of managing inventory. Then we look into next few techniques, that is, say, the 11th one to go, that is drop shipping. Now, drop shipping, it is an inventory management fulfillment method in which a store, it doesn't actually keep the products it sells in stock, right? So when a store makes a sale, instead of picking it up from their own inventory, what they do is they purchase the item from a third party and they have it shipped to the consumer. Now, the seller, he never sees or touches the product itself. So it's just you receive the order, you never bring the inventory. Now, this is with respect to a trading concern wherein you never receive the inventory. You receive the order is placed for sales. You place the order for purchase and you directly divert it to your customer without actually receiving the inventory at your end. So that is drop shipping. Then we look into lean manufacturing. So lean is a broad set of management principles that can be applied to any business practice. So wherein with lean principles, you try to be very much cost effective and efficient, wherein you identify the goal is to improve the efficiency by eliminating the waste and any non-value adding activity from the daily businesses. So with lean, probably you should be able to identify the items in your inventory which are, say, some slow moving items which are not required at that frequency by the production processes, and accordingly you will be stocking those items, or identify the fast moving items which are generally required on a regular basis, and accordingly if they have to be piled up in the inventories. Identify those items which are not required at all. It could be that some items are lying still in the go down with respect to the change in the designs of your product or the way you are manufacturing it, and so on. So delete such inventory items from your go down that and create more space for the most usable items. So with lean manufacturing, you try to look into each and every cost that has been incurred in the business houses, wherein you will try to minimize on those costs, right? So it applies to inventory management costs as well. And then we are having demand forecasting. So what do we do in demand forecasting? You are well aware that forecast is made with respect to the demand that could be rising in future with respect to your product deliverables, right? So it is one of the familiar inventory management technique to especially the retailers. Now, demand forecasting is based on historical sales data to formulate an estimate of the expected forecast of the customer demand. Now, essentially, it's an estimate of goods and services that a company can expect the customers to purchase in the future. So now, with respect to this, let us inventory management techniques. Now, let us look into how the inventory is being managed in a trading business where there is no manufacturing actually that takes place. So let us look into this video.
What is warehouse? A warehouse is a building where raw materials. What is warehouse? A warehouse is a building.
Okay, are you able to see the video?
A warehouse is a building where raw material or manufacturing goods may be stored prior to their distributions for sales. What is the standard process of a warehouse? Receiving, schedule a courier, unloading, inspections are the inbound process. Put away, identify pin locations, move products, update records, order picking, packing, labeling are the internal processes. Shipping, loading, view of landing, records update is the outbound processes. When the trucks reach our warehouse from the manufacturer or the supplier, the truck will park at the docking area. Transporter then will unload the goods from the trucks to the staging area. At the staging area, quality check is done to ensure that the goods are not damaged. Once the QC is checked, the warehouse user carry the checked goods to the bin locations to put away. Store will send the documents to the data entry operator to update the documents into the computer system. If there is any sales order, the data entry operator checks the inventory and informs whether the product is available for sales. If the product is available for sales, data entry operator generate a picking list accordingly. And this list, you give it to the picker to pick the products. Picker will go to the specific bin location and pick the item given in the picking list. After picking the item, the picker goes to the packaging area and packer then prepare the packing process. Packer will then pack the goods according to the sales order. After pack, the goods will give it to the loader and the loader will load the goods to the outbound staging area. Over here, another final quality check is done to identify no damages. Then, finally, the product is uploaded to the truck and send it to our customer. So, this is the end of the warehouse standard SOP.
Yes. So yes, so that's where we looked into the SOP with respect to warehouse in a trading concern where there was no manufacturing process as such, wherein the goods were received and they were being sold with respect to the sales orders that were being placed, right? Now, if we think of building up an SOP for inventory management system of a manufacturing organization, probably we could be splitting it up into 5 parts. That is purchase of raw material, storing of the raw material purchased, then issues to the production processes, then uh, management of work in progress inventory, and managing the finished goods inventory. So now probably these could be further split up into certain sub areas. Say for example, purchase of material, wherein first of all we'll be checking whether the inventory has reached the defined levels, wherein we need to order for the inventory so as the production processes doesn't get hampered. Then probably while doing so, we'll also be looking into the forecasts that are being made by the forecasting department. Then we raise the purchase requisitions, get the purchase requisition sanction from the respective authority, wherein they will be again checking into the different type of raw materials that is being ordered. Then place the order with the selected supplier, decide the terms and conditions of payment and specification of goods and the receipt date. So once this is finalized, then the order could be used. So these are the certain activities which are we can look into in raising of in purchasing of the raw material. Then probably the second step is storing of the raw material purchase. So that's where we looked into the standard operating procedure. That's the receipt of the order, quality checking of the order to see to it whether it is as per the purchase order that is being raised. Then filling the goods received note, receiving it after the quality check it is being done. You have to store it in the respective bins, wherein you will be filling it in your computerized systems, or in case of each and every bin where the item will be stored, will be entering the receipts part, the item that is being received with the purchases that we have made, storing it in the bins, and then raising of the stock orders. Storing it in the bins. Then we come to after the material is being purchased, as and how it is the orders, stock orders are being raised, we'll be issuing it to the production department, wherein the stock orders that are required by the production department with respect to the different raw materials, they are being raised under the what you say the guidance or the sanction of the requisite authority. Then these stock orders are raised, they are being sanctioned after verification by the authority. Then across these sanctioned orders, that the issue of the raw material is being made. After the issue is being made, the balances with respect to each and every item of raw material that is being issued is they are being verified. Then with respect to management of the work in progress, that is neither in the raw material stage nor in the finished good stage, what one can do is verify the work in progress status, as and how you are required to report with respect to the work in progress, wherein say if it is going into a series of processes till it reaches the manufacturing of finished goods, then with respect to each and every process, the percentage of completion in that process is required to be stated. Okay, then recording this work in progress inventory process wise is a must. Then with respect to finished goods inventory, again, once the units are being the finished goods are being produced and they are being received The quality of these finished goods is being checked with respect to each and every batch of finished goods that comes out from the manufacturing process. Then these finished goods, they go into for packing after the quality check is being done. Then they are stored in the warehouse with respect to the different products that are being manufactured. Then they are dispatched against the sales orders that are being placed, and then again the balance verification is done with respect to the finished goods inventory. So initially all these steps or activities that we have referred to, they were carried out on manual basis. Nowadays with the computerized system, the entry is being made, the data entry is being made in the systems across the respective sanctioned authorized documents that are being used for moving the material in and out of the warehouses, then be it the raw materials, be it the work in progress, or be it the finished goods that we are speaking about, right? So again, with respect to each and every item that is mentioned in the sub activity, there could be certain standard operating procedures that could be built in detail in order to see to it that nothing has been missed out with respect to an activity, right? And accordingly, the entries could be made in the systems. Now, usually with an ERP system in place, what is essential, the data entry takes place with respect to the items that are being purchased, the orders that are being placed, the items that are being actually received and that they are being entered and when they are issued. So these are the data entry items that are required to be looked into. Rest, the balance of the inventory, the whatever methodology you are using, whether it is a FIFO or LIFO method for issuing of the inventory, the amount of inventory, what levels they have reached, then there will be whether depending upon what has been defined in the system, whether it should be signaling for the purchasing requirements when it reaches the minimum order level or safety level or the reordering level as decided into the organization. Now, accordingly, the messages would be given and with respect to procurement of the inventory from the ERP system itself, right? So the entire process is being looked into by the systems. Now the only part that remains is uh, entering into the correct data with respect to inventory and the inventory specification and looking into the authorization with respect to the procurement or dispatch of the inventory. Yes. So that is with respect to the writing of SOPs for inventory management system. Now, in the next session, we will be looking into one more systems. Okay, one more thing. I'm yet to speak with Vaishali ma'am with respect to the evaluations that could be raised. So tomorrow for sure I will come back on this. Right. So that's where we stop over here for today. And tomorrow we'll be looking into one more system wherein the standard operating procedures could be prepared for. Yes. So thank you, class.
Thank you, ma'am.